the mind. The heart of a people, you can find it through their language. If I can control this person's language, cut his tongue out, not physically, but mentally cut his tongue out, it's possible that he will never find his way back to his people. That's the reason why those of us in the Lost Foundation of Islam say all praise is due to Master Muhammad for coming to us and letting us know you're not a nigger, you're not a coon, you're not a school. You are direct descendants from the families of those who built the planets, who built the pyramids. You are great people, you are ancient people. You're not slaves. Now that we recognize that today and we place a demand for reparations, they say we're wrong. The question that I pose to you today is, when it comes to reparations, are you involved or are you committed? There's a difference. In order to push through, you're not going to have the same kind of, and this is in my quotes, now I'll write it. You're not going to have the same kind of strategical movement that the Jews had. Once the United States of America, along with others, toppled Hitler, they then went in and created the government of Germany. You can research it for yourself. They created the government, like what they did in Iraq. They're trying to do in Iraq, got rid of Saddam Hussein, and there's a list of candidates that you can't vote for that are supposed to win, and they got out. So they're going to destroy a government, put a puppet in and live vicariously through that puppet. Like what they had Mubarak doing in Egypt. I'm just telling you the truth.
Yes, sir.
Keep coming.
So once they destroyed Germany, they then went in and built the government, not the people now, the government of Germany. Then posed the question, well, was it wrong or should they receive reparations? No, the answer was they created that government. So we're not going to have a destruction of America, a war, and then someone create the government of the United States of America for us, and then we ask them, should we receive reparations? The closest you're going to get to that, you've already gotten to that with Barack Obama. And he opposes reparations. I'm just telling you the truth. All right? And as much as the Jews did what they did, how they did, initially it seemed like it hurt us, but it really helped us. The United Nations, you did it for the Jews, you can do it for us. You gave them reparations, restitution, identification. We want the same thing. Thank you. I should.
Basically, what I'm actually hearing from each and every one of the speakers, as well as people with questions and comments, we all have an identity crisis. We're going through an identity crisis. And in us going through an identity crisis, the United Nations have formulated, please hear this, the United Nations has formulated with 19 organizations plus the NGO, which is called AFRI, and came up with the name for us, Afro-descendant. No longer should we be calling ourselves African Americans. We are not African American. We are not from Africa, willingly came over here and joined on to citizenship, and now we're African American. A white person can be an African American. We're Afro-descendants by definition. This defines us intimately, who we actually are. The loss of our mother tongue, intimately, we lost that. We have no collective human rights because we cannot speak and muster our own language. Our culture, we lost that culture, that intimate culture that attaches you to the human family, that makes you have your human rights. We lost that. We do not have that. We do not have a culture that we can intimately say, I can reach back in Africa and attach it to myself, and it's a part of my ancestral attachment. We are going through ethnogenesis. We are a new people. We have to accept these terms because they're important. You're going through ethnogenesis. You're a new people. You're no longer that African that came over. You're something new. You're something different. You're mixed with these people that took us. ethnogenesis. And in us going through ethnogenesis, this rebirth, we're Afro-descendants. We need to start embracing that, understanding what it actually is, and come together as a nation of people that are evolving.
Is that what the United Nations recognize now?
Yes, they do. They actually recognize us as Afro-descendants, not an African American. Please understand that.
Okay, quick announcements, and then I'll turn it over to Dr. Muhammad to address the ways to best organize us to take our issue to the United Nations. Tomorrow, IPAD Chicago, the International European African Descent Committee for African Descendants in Chicago, is having a movie screening at Crowther Center Inner City Studies. There's a lot of talk about Libya. We're showing the movie Lion in the Desert. It's a movie that was a historical movie that was financed and funded by Muammar Gaddafi to tell the Libyan story against their struggle for independence against the Italians when they colonized them. And apparently this Libyan freedom fighter was of African Berber descent. He's played by a European in the movie. But at the time when he waged a multi-year struggle, a 30, 40-year struggle, and he was hung after he was captured, but when he was apparently hung, his glasses fell off, and a young man picked up the glasses, which symbolized that he was picking up the elder's vision, and it's believed that this young man was Muammar Gaddafi. We'll see some of the historical aspects of the Libyan struggle. Also, I want to make sure everybody get this. It's a Save the Date piece. It's our statement. This is from Cobra. We're having our national conference here in Chicago. All the giants of the Cobra reparations movement, most of them will be here. We're going to strategize. We're going to look at how we can wed the human rights struggle, international European African descent, the pursuit of self-determination to reparations. And we're going to be doing a lot of strategizing on the concept of the plebiscite as well.
There's 7 points that identify us as Afro-descendants. And if you can start at 1 and read along with it.
You have your bookmark. You have your bookmark as well. Pull your bookmark. Use the bookmark as well. Here you go, son. No problem. Here you go. You go. Oh, no problem.
And this identifies not just those of us, the 40 million, approximately 40 million in the United States of America, but throughout the slavery diaspora, whole 250 million have come together and decided on the name, the term Afro-descendants, and given definition to it. Right? 1 is the people who were forcibly disposed of their homeland in Africa. 2 were transported to the Americas and diaspora for the purpose of enslavement. 3 were subjected to slavery. 4 were subjected to forced mixing, breed, and rape. 5 have experienced through force the loss of their mother tongue, we talked about that earlier, culture, and religion. 6 have experienced racial discrimination due to the lost ties or partial lost ties to their original identity. 7 going through a rebirth process of ethnogenesis. It is important that we coalesce around this idea such that we can strike as a fist. And I think the question was, why is it important to have an identity? It's important to have an identity such that, as the professor said, that you can recognize when it is time to mobilize who's with you, who's against you, who's for you, and so that you don't latch on to somebody who's not really for you, though they may look like you.
So, yeah, I agree with a lot of things that was spoken in the meeting, and yes, I
I had the issue with the name that it gave us African American. I knew that the United Nations did not recognize that name. I asked the sister today, they said Afro descendant is the name we need to use, and that sounds like money to me.
This meeting has got me supercharged because I work with 3 grammar schools, 1 high school, and 5 colleges in the Bronzeville neighborhood. And although a lot of the principals and teachers want to strive for an Afrocentric theme in what they're dealing with, especially middle kids, 6th grade through 8th grade, it is it's this 800-pound gorilla, so to speak, in the room about what's too black, what's too real, and how much information is appropriate for young people post pre-adolescence that are in the midst of different changes in a neighborhood that is the centerpiece of gentrification and war in a lot of different ways.
Definitely, I was very pleased with the outcome today. There was a lot of interesting and very relevant questions asked, as well as the comments that were made by many of the people who were in attendance. We, within Cobra, are planning our 22nd annual Reparations Conference, National Conference, with the theme, Bambalela, Titayarishi, Never Give Up, Be Prepared for Reparations Now. And tonight's program showed that there are many of us out here who are in no way, shape, form about ready to give up on this righteous and just struggle. But in the alternative, we are extremely motivated, encouraged, and fortified to make this a reality.